Dr. Olivia Bennett checked her reflection in the small mirror of her quarters. The blue diplomatic uniform felt stiff and uncomfortable, but today was too important to worry about comfort. As Earth's leading expert on comparative physiology, she had been chosen to represent humanity in their first official meeting with the Arxian Confederation. "Final docking procedures complete," announced the calm voice over the intercom. "All diplomatic personnel report to the main airlock." Olivia took a deep breath and tucked a strand of brown hair behind her ear. 6 months of training for this moment, learning alien customs and protocols, yet nothing could truly prepare her for being the first human to formally meet 7 different alien species at once. The space station Harmony Point orbited Jupiter silently. Built by automated drones from the Confederation as a neutral meeting ground, its artificial gravity and atmosphere were calibrated to accommodate multiple species. Olivia felt slightly lighter than on Earth as she walked through the curved corridors toward the airlock. "Ready, Dr. Bennett?" asked Sam Wilson, her communications specialist. His nervous smile matched how she felt inside. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied. "Remember, we observe their greeting customs first, then follow their lead." The airlock cycled with a soft hiss. As the door slid open, Olivia saw the delegation waiting in the large circular chamber beyond. 7 distinctly different life forms stood or hovered in a semicircle. Some were roughly humanoid, others utterly alien in form. A tall, slender being with silvery skin and 4 arms stepped forward. "I am Selnor, primary diplomat of the Arxian Confederation. We welcome the representatives of Earth to this historic meeting." The universal translator in Olivia's ear converted the complex clicks and whistles into English. She stepped forward and performed the greeting gesture they had been taught. Right hand open at chest level, palm upward. "I am Dr. Olivia Bennett of Earth. We are honored to join this gathering of species." The meeting seemed to progress smoothly at first. The aliens took turns introducing themselves. The insectoid Vril, the gaseous Elsher contained in floating orbs, the reptilian Durask, and others whose names were difficult for human vocal cords to pronounce. Everything changed when a small device was activated in the center of the room, projecting what appeared to be scanning beams that passed harmlessly over everyone present. The reaction was immediate and alarming. Several aliens backed away from Olivia. Others made sounds that the translator couldn't process properly. Zilnor's forehands moved in complex patterns as the silver skin around his eyes darkened significantly. "Is something wrong?" Olivia asked, looking down at herself, wondering if she had somehow violated a cultural taboo. "These readings cannot be accurate," said a bulky, reptilian Durask. "Your internal temperature, it would cook the proteins of any normal species. Your blood contains high levels of iron," exclaimed another, "a toxic heavy metal. And your atmospheric requirements," added Selenor, his voice now translated with an edge of concern. "The oxygen levels you breathe would cause oxidative damage to most cellular structures we've encountered." Olivia blinked in confusion. "These are normal human parameters. Our body temperature is maintained at approximately 37 degrees Celsius. Our blood uses iron to bind oxygen, and we've evolved to breathe an atmosphere with about 21% oxygen." The chamber erupted with overlapping translations as the aliens conferred urgently among themselves. Sam stepped closer to Olivia, his hand instinctively moving toward the communication device at his belt. "They're afraid of us," he whispered. "Something about our basic biology is terrifying them." His Eleanor approached cautiously, holding up another scanning device. "Dr. Bennett, with your permission, we would like to conduct a more thorough examination. According to our initial readings, several aspects of human physiology should be fatal. Yet you stand before us, apparently healthy. What the hell is wrong with human physiology?" asked a small, amphibious being at the back of the group, its translator failing to filter out the confusion in its voice. Olivia looked at the circle of alien faces, all showing their species' version of concern or fear. The historic first contact was taking an unexpected turn. all because of the most basic facts of human existence. "I would be happy to explain our biology," she said calmly, though her heart raced. "And yes, you may examine me further if that would help." Olivia followed Excellenor and 3 other alien scientists into what appeared to be a medical bay. The room contained strange equipment she had never seen before, glowing with soft blue and green lights. Sam waited outside after Olivia assured him she would be fine. "Please lie down here." Selenor indicated a flat surface that adjusted its shape as Olivia approached. It molded perfectly to her body as she lay back. "This will not hurt," said a Vril scientist, its insect-like mandibles clicking softly. "We are simply gathering data on your biological systems." A dome of light formed over Olivia's body. She felt a slight tingling sensation, but nothing painful. The aliens gathered around display screens, their expressions growing more concerned with each passing minute. "Your skeletal structure contains living cells constantly rebuilding themselves," observed the Durask physician, his scaled fingers moving across the controls. "Most species with internal support structures have fixed, stable systems after maturity." "Yes, our bones are living tissue," Olivia explained. "They repair themselves when broken." This statement caused another round of concerned murmurs. "You anticipate structural damage frequently enough to evolve a repair mechanism?" asked Excellenor. Before Olivia could respond, the amphibious alien called out, "The digestive system analysis is complete. They deliberately consume mild toxins for pleasure. Look at these readings." Excellenor moved to examine the display. "Is this accurate? You regularly consume ethanol, caffeine, and capsaicin compounds." Olivia nodded. "Coffee, alcohol, and spicy foods. Yes, many humans enjoy these. They're mild enough that our livers can process them without harm. Your species intentionally consumes substances that cause pain." The amphibian's large eyes blinked rapidly. "The capsaicin compounds trigger pain receptors, yet you seek them out." "Some humans enjoy the sensation," Olivia said with a slight smile. "We have cooking competitions centered around making the spiciest foods." The medical examination continued for hours. Each new discovery about human physiology seemed to disturb the aliens more. They were particularly troubled by human sleep requirements. "You become unconscious for approximately 1/3 of each planetary rotation," Selenor asked, checking his readings again. "And during this time, you are vulnerable and unaware of your surroundings." "We call it sleep," Olivia explained. "All humans need it. Without sleep, we become ill and eventually die. No spacefaring species we have encountered requires such extended periods of vulnerability," the Durask physician said. "It would be a severe evolutionary disadvantage." "What about your wound repair rates?" the Vril scientist asked, changing the subject. "According to these readings, if you receive a minor cut, your body seals it within minutes and begins cellular regeneration immediately." "That's normal human healing," Olivia said. "Is it different for your species?" "Most of us divert energy to prevention rather than repair," Selenor explained. "Your system seems to expect damage and has elaborate mechanisms to address it quickly instead." A new alien entered the medical bay. This one had a crystalline appearance, with light refracting through its translucent body. It spoke briefly with Selenor in a language the translator didn't catch. "Dr. Bennett," Selenor said, turning back to her, "the Confederation Science Council is assembling. Your biology presents several interesting questions. Would you be willing to continue these examinations with their oversight?" "Of course," Olivia agreed. "But may I ask what exactly concerns you about human physiology? We consider ourselves rather fragile compared to what we imagined alien life might be like." The aliens exchanged glances. Finally, the Durask spoke. "Your species evolved on a radiation-bathed planet with toxic oxygen levels, regular exposure to carcinogens, and constant physical damage. Yet, instead of avoiding these dangers, you developed mechanisms to endure them. You sleep, becoming completely vulnerable for hours, in defiance of all predatory logic. Your biology makes no sense by our understanding of evolutionary principles. From our perspective, Selnor added quietly, humans should not exist. Yet here you are. Olivia sat up slowly as the scanning dome disappeared. For the first time, she began to understand that humans might be far more unusual in the galaxy than anyone on Earth had imagined. Word quickly spread throughout Harmony Station about the strange human physiology. Olivia found herself the center of attention as she made her way to the mess hall. Alien crew members would stop and stare, some even taking readings with personal devices when they thought she wouldn't notice. "Dr. Bennett," a familiar voice called from across the room. Olivia turned to see Commander William Paxton striding toward her, followed by a small group of humans in diplomatic uniforms. Relief washed over her at the sight of other humans. "Commander Paxton, I didn't expect the secondary delegation for another day," Olivia said, shaking his hand. "We accelerated our schedule after your initial reports," he explained in a low voice. "The Confederation's reaction to human biology has the folks back home very interested. They sent me with a team of specialists." A tall woman with close-cropped blonde hair stepped forward. "Dr. Kate Miller, cynobiologist. I've been dying to get my hands on their comparative physiology database. And I'm Greg Johnson, diplomatic security," added a broad-shouldered man. "Just in case our weird biology makes anyone too nervous." Felvanor approached their group, his silver skin reflecting the station's lights. "Commander Paxton, welcome to Harmony Station. The Science Council has granted your request to access the Galactic Biological Database. If you will follow me." The human delegation was led to a large circular room. The walls were lined with screens displaying biological information from thousands of worlds. In the center stood a holographic projector controlled by a Vril technician. This database contains detailed physiological information on 4,782 sentient species, Selnor explained. Of these, 312 have achieved spaceflight independently. Dr. Miller could barely contain her excitement. "This is incredible. Can we compare human data to other species?" The Vril technician clicked its mandibles and entered commands. A three-dimensional hologram of a human appeared in the center of the room, alongside representatives of other species. "We have identified 27 biological factors that appear across all known spacefaring species," Selnor said. "These traits seem necessary for the development of advanced technology." The holographic display highlighted various systems within each alien body: nervous systems, sensory organs, manipulative appendages. Numbers and charts appeared beside each one. Commander Paxton studied the display with a frown. "What are these percentile rankings?" "Statistical distributions of each trait across all spacefaring species," explained Selnor. "The normal range is highlighted in green." As they watched, the human hologram began to flash red in multiple areas. Warnings appeared beside numerous biological systems. Dr. Miller leaned forward. "We're statistical outliers in almost every category." "Indeed," said Selnor. "Humans rank in the extreme outer percentiles in areas such as environmental adaptability, damage resistance, toxin processing, and sensory integration. Your species operates far outside the established norms." Greg Johnson crossed his arms. "Is that good or bad?" The Vril technician made a sound the translator couldn't process properly. Selnor hesitated before responding. "It is unprecedented. The combination of traits found in humans breaks several patterns we believed were universal constants of evolutionary development." Olivia pointed to a flashing section of the human hologram. "What about our neural patterns? Those seem to be causing particular concern." "Your brain architecture," Selnor said. "It shows an unusual redundancy and plasticity. Most species develop specialized neural centers that remain fixed after maturity. Human brains continue to form new connections throughout your lifespan, allowing adaptation to new skills and recovery from injuries that would be fatal to other species." Commander Paxton looked thoughtful. So individually, none of our traits are impossible, but the combination is what's bothering you. Precisely, Selenor replied. It is as if humans evolved to survive conditions that should have prevented the development of intelligence altogether. Your planet should not have produced a spacefaring species, yet here you are. As the humans exchanged glances, an alarm suddenly blared throughout the station. The screens around them flickered, then changed to display a single symbol that Olivia didn't recognize. Zelnor's silver skin paled to almost white. We must evacuate immediately. The Caracs have been detected in this system. The alarm continued to blare as station crew rushed through the corridors. Selnor led the human delegation toward the evacuation bay, his 4 arms moving in practiced emergency signals to other aliens they passed. Who are the Caracs? Commander Paxton asked, keeping pace with Selenor. A predatory nomadic species, Selenor replied, his voice tight with concern. They attack isolated stations and colonies, take what they want, and leave nothing behind. They have destroyed 12 outposts in the past solar cycle. Are they part of your confederation? Olivia asked. No. They reject all diplomatic contact. They consider other species as nothing more than resources to be harvested. They reached a large hangar where several ships were being prepared for immediate departure. Aliens rushed aboard in organized groups as emergency lights flashed. The Archean Security Council has ordered the immediate evacuation of all diplomatic personnel. Selenor explained, we have ships ready to take you to safety. We must leave within 30 minutes before the Caracs detection systems lock onto the station. Commander Paxton stopped walking. Wait, what about our people on Mars and Europa? Selenor blinked rapidly, a sign of confusion. What do you mean? We have research stations on Mars and mining operations on Europa, Paxton explained. Over 2,000 people. They can't all be evacuated quickly. The surrounding aliens fell silent. Selnor's skin color shifted to a deep gray. You have permanent settlements in this system, on those worlds. The disbelief in his voice was clear through the translator. Yes, Olivia confirmed. Mars has had a permanent human presence for 15 years. Europa for 7. But Mars has deadly radiation levels, almost no atmosphere, dust storms that block solar power for weeks, and temperatures that drop below your freezing point every night. Selenor stammered. Greg Johnson shrugged. We built habitats. It's challenging but manageable. And Europa? Asked the Vril scientist who had joined them. It has crushing radiation from Jupiter, a surface of solid ice, and temperatures of -160 degrees Celsius. We drill through the ice to the liquid ocean below, Dr. Miller explained. The radiation is a problem, but our shelters and suits protect us adequately. The aliens exchanged looks of pure shock. Zelnor's hands trembled slightly as he activated his communication device. Security Council. This is Diplomat Selenor. The humans report established colonies on Mars and Europa. Yes, those planets. I confirm this is not a translation error. After a brief exchange, Selenor turned back to the humans. The evacuation ships will depart as scheduled with most of our diplomatic staff. A small security team will remain behind with you until we can develop a plan for your colonies. As the majority of aliens boarded their ships, Commander Paxton gathered his team. I've contacted Earth. They're sending defensive vessels, but they won't arrive for at least 12 hours. A new alien approached, tall and muscular with a ridge of bone along its skull. It wore what appeared to be body armor and carried several devices on a utility belt. I am Karth, security chief for this sector, it said in a deep voice. My team will remain to assist. What defensive capabilities do humans have? On station, just Greg and myself have basic combat training, Paxton replied. We're diplomats, not soldiers. Karth made a clicking sound. The Caracs are evolved from apex predators. They are stronger, faster, and better armed than us. Our best option is to hide and wait for your reinforcements. Greg Johnson stepped forward. With respect, Hiding didn't save those 12 outposts, did it? What do you suggest? Karth asked. We prepare to fight, Greg said simply. We secure critical areas, create defensive positions, and prepare for boarding actions. Against Karak's warriors. Karth's translator conveyed his disbelief. With your fragile physiology. Olivia exchanged glances with the other humans. None seemed afraid, just determined. Chief Karth, Olivia said gently, I think you still don't understand human physiology at all. As the evacuation ships departed with flashes of blue light, the station suddenly seemed very empty and quiet. The remaining aliens watched in confusion as the humans began gathering tools and materials, preparing for a battle that by all galactic logic, they had no chance of winning. 6 hours later, the station shook violently. The lights flickered and then dimmed to emergency levels. Commander Paxton steadied himself against a wall and looked at Karth. They're here, Karth said, checking a small device on his wrist. Multiple ships have attached to the outer docking rings. In the command center, the remaining crew, 8 aliens from 3 species and 6 humans, gathered around the security displays. Red warning lights showed breaches at 3 different points on the station. They've cut through the outer airlocks, Greg reported, now wearing makeshift armor fashioned from station maintenance equipment. Standard boarding procedure. How do you know their procedures? Asked a Vril security officer. I don't, Greg replied. But it's what I would do. Olivia watched as Commander Paxton took charge, his voice calm and clear despite the danger. They'll split into teams and secure key areas, life support, communications, and the command center. We need to be ready at all 3 locations. Karth looked doubtful. My team is too small to defend multiple positions. Then we'll help, said Paxton. Dr. Miller and 2 of your officers can guard life support. Greg and I will take 3 more and defend communications. Olivia and Dr. Chen will stay here with you to hold the command center. You're putting scientists on defense teams, Karth asked in disbelief. Every human in this room has basic emergency training, Paxton explained. It's standard for all off-world personnel. Before Karth could respond, the security screen showed movement. Tall, muscular figures moved through the station corridors. They had gray, leathery skin, elongated jaws filled with sharp teeth, and wore advanced armor with built-in weapons. Karak's boarding party, Karth whispered. At least 20 warriors. The teams moved to their positions. Olivia helped barricade the doors to the command center, her heart racing but her hand steady. Dr. Alan Chen, a quiet physicist who had barely spoken during the mission, now worked efficiently beside her, reinforcing weak points in their defense. Ever been in a fight before, Dr. Bennett? Karth asked as he distributed strange-looking weapons to his officers. Not since high school, Olivia admitted with a small smile. Joanne Palmer pulled my hair in biology class. It didn't end well for her. Karth didn't seem to understand the joke. He handed her a metal rod about the length of her forearm. This is a shock baton. One touch will disable most species temporarily. The first attack came 30 minutes later. The communications team reported contact with 6 Karak's warriors. Sounds of fighting came through the comm system, then silence. Paxton, Greg, report, Olivia called into the comm. After a tense moment, Greg's voice came through, breathless but clear. 5 down. 1 escaped. 2 of the alien officers are injured. Commander has a cut on his arm, but refused to leave his post. They defeated 5 Karaks, Karth asked in shock. Before anyone could respond, a loud bang shook the command center door. The barricade shuddered but held. Another bang followed, then another. They're breaking through, Dr. Chen called out. The door burst inward. 3 Karak's warriors charged into the room, firing energy weapons that sent 2 of Karth's officers flying backward. Karth returned fire, hitting one of the Karaks in the shoulder, but it barely slowed. Olivia found herself face to face with a warrior nearly twice her size. It swung a blade at her head. She ducked and jabbed the shock baton into its side. The Carax roared in pain but didn't fall. It grabbed her arm with crushing strength. To everyone's surprise, Olivia didn't scream. Instead, she drove her knee hard into a joint in the creature's leg. When it buckled slightly, she twisted free and struck again with the baton, this time holding it against the Carax's neck until it finally collapsed. She turned to see Dr. Chen standing over another fallen warrior, blood running from a cut on his forehead, but his eyes clear and focused. Karth stared at the humans in disbelief. "How did you?" he began, but was interrupted by another call from the communications team. "Command Center." Greg's voice came through. "We've secured our position. They're regrouping. This is just the first wave." 3 days passed. The Carax continued their attacks but failed to take control of the station. The human and alien defenders held their positions despite being outnumbered. In the command center, Olivia tended to a wound on Greg's shoulder. He winced as she applied a bandage, but didn't complain. "How long has it been since you slept?" she asked quietly. Greg thought for a moment. "Maybe 20 hours. I got a few hours yesterday when Dr. Chen took my watch." Nearby, Zelvanor observed with fascination. He had remained hidden during the initial attack, but now helped with medical care. "You humans continue to function after minimal sleep," he noted, "and despite injuries that would incapacitate most species." Commander Paxton entered the room. His uniform was torn and dirty, with dried blood on the sleeve. Dark circles had formed under his eyes, but his voice remained strong. "The Carax have pulled back to their ships," he reported. "Their commander is requesting communication." "They want to talk?" Karth asked in surprise. He looked worse than the humans, his scaled skin pale, and his movements slow from exhaustion. "The Carax never negotiate." "They do now," Paxton said. "Put them through." The main screen activated, showing a large Carax with elaborate markings on its armor. Its long jaw opened to reveal sharp teeth as it spoke. "I am War Leader Drek of the Carax Hunting Fleet, who commands this station." Karth stepped forward. "I am Security Chief." "I wish to speak with the human commander," Drek interrupted. Paxton moved into view. "Commander William Paxton of Earth. What do you want?" "Explanation," Drek growled. "Your species is unknown to us. You fight without proper rest. You continue despite injuries. My warriors report that you feel pain but ignore it. How is this possible?" Olivia joined Paxton in front of the screen. "I'm Dr. Olivia Bennett, human physiologist. What seems strange to you is normal for us." "Not possible," Drek insisted. "No species can maintain combat efficiency for days with such limited recovery periods." "Humans can," Olivia replied simply. "We evolved as persistence hunters. Our ancestors would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, even if it took days." Drek's eyes narrowed. "You expect me to believe your species hunted by exhausting faster prey rather than with strength or speed?" "It's true," Olivia continued. "We have exceptional endurance and thermal regulation. We can go without sleep for days when necessary. Our bodies produce stress hormones that block pain during danger." The Carax leader studied her for a long moment. "These traits would be useful to the Carax. We will take some of you alive for study." Commander Paxton's face hardened. "That's not happening. Our ships will be here in 9 hours. I suggest you leave before they arrive." "Your reinforcements will find nothing but debris," Drek snarled. "We have called our own fleet. You cannot win." The communication ended abruptly. Olivia turned to Paxton, her scientific mind already working on a new idea. "Commander, I noticed something about the Carax physiology during the fights. They seem very sensitive to temperature changes." "How so?" Paxton asked. "When the cooling system was damaged in Section 4, the Carax warriors retreated immediately, even though the temperature only rose by 10 degrees. Zelvanor joined the conversation. "That aligns with our data. Carax evolved on a world with very stable temperatures. Their metabolism cannot adjust quickly to changes. But humans can, Olivia said, excitement growing in her voice. We can tolerate significant temperature variations. Greg caught on quickly. You're suggesting we use the environmental systems against them. Exactly, Olivia confirmed. We could create rapid temperature fluctuations throughout the station, hot in some sections, cold in others. It might disorient them enough to give us an advantage. Karth looked doubtful. The fluctuations would affect us all. My people cannot endure extreme temperatures any better than the Karax. Then you'll stay here in the command center, Commander Paxton decided. We'll maintain normal conditions in this section. And the humans? Selnor asked. Paxton looked at his team. Despite their exhaustion and injuries, each face showed determination. We'll manage, he said simply. Humans are good at being uncomfortable. 1 week later, Harmony Station buzzed with activity. Repairs were underway, and the main diplomatic hall had been restored to working order. Representatives from 12 species now filled the chamber, many having arrived specifically to meet the humans who had repelled a Karax attack. Olivia stood before the gathered aliens, her diplomatic uniform replaced with a new one bearing an emblem she didn't recognize, a human silhouette against a star field. The Arxian High Council has reviewed all data regarding the recent events, announced an elderly Durask who served as the council speaker. Never before has a Karax raiding party been defeated by a station's defenders, let alone driven away. Commander Paxton and his team stood at attention beside Olivia. Their wounds had been treated, though some still wore bandages. Captain Lisa Ford of the Earth vessel Freedom stood with them, representing Earth's military forces. The council speaker continued, based on the remarkable physiological capabilities demonstrated by humans during this crisis, the Confederation hereby recognizes Earth as a guardian species. A murmur ran through the assembled aliens. Selnor, now serving as Earth's official liaison, stepped forward to explain. A guardian species designation is rare, he said. It acknowledges species with exceptional survival traits that make them uniquely qualified to defend regions other species find challenging. Olivia looked surprised. There are other guardian species. Only 3 in the recorded history of the Confederation, Selnor replied. The Valorians of the methane clouds of Rigel 7, the silicon-based Krith who patrol the radiation belts of the galactic core, and the aquatic Mirans who maintain order in the deep ocean worlds. The council speaker presented Olivia with a data crystal. This contains the full scientific analysis of human physiology as understood by our best researchers. We still do not fully comprehend how your species evolved with so many seemingly contradictory traits. Dr. Miller accepted the crystal with a smile. Evolution isn't always elegant. Sometimes it's just good enough to survive. And that is perhaps the most remarkable thing about humans, added the Vril scientist who had first examined Olivia. Your physiology is not optimized for any specific environment. Instead, it allows you to adapt to almost any condition, even if imperfectly. Captain Ford stepped forward. With this new guardian species status, what does the Confederation expect from Earth? We propose a defensive alliance, the council speaker replied. Human colonies would help secure regions too harsh for our species to patrol effectively. In return, we offer access to our technology and full membership in the Confederation. Later that evening, as the formal meetings concluded, Olivia found herself in the observation lounge with Selnor. They watched as ships from various worlds moved gracefully around the station. I have been appointed as your first ambassador to the Confederation, Olivia told him. I'll be staying aboard to continue my work explaining human physiology to your scientists. An excellent choice, Selnor said. Though I must warn you, our medical students are still traumatized by your demonstrations. Olivia laughed. You mean drinking hot coffee? That hardly seems frightening. A beverage containing a nerve toxin, heated to temperatures that would burn most species, consumed for pleasure. Selnor shuddered dramatically. And that's before we discuss your sleeping habits, pain tolerance, or radiation resistance. We're not that unusual, Olivia protested mildly. Dr. Bennett, a group of humans with minimal military training defeated warriors evolved from apex predators because your bodies simply refused to stop functioning under conditions that should have been debilitating, Selnor said. By any galactic standard, human physiology is nothing short of miraculous. Olivia turned to look at the distant light of Earth, barely visible from this distance but still home. Not miraculous, she corrected gently. Just adapted to a difficult world. We never realized Earth was harsh because it's the only home we've ever known. Zelnor's four hands made a gesture of deep respect. Perhaps that is the final mystery of human physiology. You don't even recognize how extraordinary you are. As new ships arrived from Earth, bringing more humans eager to meet their galactic neighbors, Olivia smiled at the thought of all the puzzled alien faces yet to come. They still had so much to learn about what the hell was wrong, or perhaps right, with human physiology. Dr. Miller worked quickly at the environmental control panel, her fingers flying over the touchscreen, ready to implement temperature changes on your command. Sections 1 through 5 will rise to 40 degrees Celsius. Sections 6 through 10 will drop to 5 degrees. Commander Paxton nodded. All teams in position. Greg's voice came through the comm system. Team 1 ready. We're at the junction between sections 5 and 6. Team 2 in position, reported Dr. Chen from another part of the station. Olivia checked her makeshift weapon, a shock baton modified with parts from damaged station equipment. The command center is secure. Sealnor and Karth's people are in the protected area. Commander Paxton took a deep breath. Activate the temperature protocols. All teams proceed according to plan. Dr. Miller pressed the final command. Throughout the station, warning lights flashed as the environmental systems began their dramatic shifts. Hot air blasted through some corridors while others quickly became cold enough to see breath. The effect on the Karax was immediate. Alarms sounded on their ships as their warriors inside the station sent distress signals. Security cameras showed confused Karax warriors moving erratically, some removing pieces of armor as they overheated, others shivering violently in the cold sections. The human teams moved between temperature zones, sweating in the heat one moment and shivering in the cold the next, but always moving forward. They caught Karax warriors at the boundaries between zones, where the rapid temperature change was most disorienting. Olivia led a small team through a hot section, her uniform soaked with sweat. The temperature transition point is just ahead. Be ready. They turned a corner to find 3 Karax warriors stumbling toward them, clearly distressed by the heat. When the aliens saw the humans operating effectively despite the temperature, their confusion was visible even on their alien faces. "How are you functioning in this heat?" one demanded, raising a weapon with a trembling hand. Olivia didn't answer. Her team rushed forward before the Karax could recover. The fighting was brief but intense. Within minutes, all 3 warriors were subdued. Similar scenes played out across the station as the humans used their environmental adaptability to full advantage. The Karax, unable to adjust quickly to the changing conditions, found themselves outmaneuvered and overwhelmed. In the command center, Selenor watched the security feeds with growing amazement. Their bodies are maintaining functionality across temperature ranges that would incapacitate most species. It defies biological logic. 3 hours into the operation, the station shook violently. Commander Paxton stumbled back into the command center, his face red from the heat of the sections he had traversed. "What was that?" he demanded. "The Karax ships are detaching," Karth reported, checking the sensors. "They're pulling back." On the main screen, they watched as the Karax vessels moved away from the station, maintaining formation but no longer attacking. The communication system activated. War Leader Drek appeared once more, but his demeanor had changed. His breathing was labored, and his normally intimidating presence seemed diminished. "Your biological adaptability is unexpected," he admitted reluctantly. "You withstand conditions that disable my warriors. This requires new strategy." Commander Paxton stood tall despite his exhaustion. Our reinforcements will arrive within hours. This is your last chance to leave the system peacefully." Drek bared his teeth, but it seemed more like a gesture of respect than aggression. "We will withdraw to reconsider. But know this, humans, we will adapt our approach. We will return prepared for your biological abnormalities." The screen went dark. Moments later, the Karak ships accelerated away from the station, their engines glowing brightly against the blackness of space. Greg limped into the command center, a fresh cut on his cheek, but a smile on his face. "They're actually retreating. I've never heard of Karaks backing down before." Karth's voice was quiet with wonder. "They never have. Not once in recorded history." Olivia looked around at her fellow humans, tired, injured, pushed to their limits, but still standing. "They weren't prepared for human physiology," she said simply. As if on cue, the station's sensors lit up with new signals. A fleet of Earth ships had arrived, led by the recently commissioned defense vessel Freedom. The battle was over, at least for now.